ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः।
Dear friends, welcome back to the study of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4. And I have intentionally got stuck in shloka number 6. The shloka number 6, 7, and 8 and 9. These 4 shlokas encapsulates a world of ideas which leads us to the concept of the Lord God of the universe in his manifested form, as well as that absolute immutable spirit in its absolute form. How could these 2 contradictory concepts coexist? This is the secret of the story. And what is that? Arjuna, continuing to listening to Krishna and being amazed at Krishna's wisdom, not knowing who Krishna is, in essence, knowing him to be his cousin brother, his amazement doesn't end. And then, ultimately, Krishna gives him an opening. He says, look, Arjuna, I was the person who instructed Manu, Ikshaku, and etc., etc., etc. Now, from the point of history, Manu and Ikshaku were thousands of years before they were born. And Arjuna got an opening created by Krishna himself. He immediately asks, Sir, they were born many thousand years before you. And you today, at my presence, at this point of time, you say, you advise them. How is it possible? So, Sri Krishna creates an opening for Arjuna to ask a question which was bothering him. Wherefrom did my cousin brother speak with such an authority and such a wisdom? This is how it starts. That is, the concept of incarnation of God is now being slowly and slowly developed. So he says very simply, Arjuna, don't you know, both of us have been born over and over and over again. The difference and the distinction is, you don't happen to remember anything of your past, whereas I remember everything. What is this? We really not only we remember our past life, we do not even remember what had happened in this present life in totality. Whereas he suggests he has an awareness which never goes to sleep. Atandra Chaitanya. Chaitanya is awareness. His awareness of himself never goes to sleep, and he knows every bit of the past, present, and the future. Who can he be? This is how the whole thing starts. So we now concentrate from the 6th to the 9th chapter. 9th shloka, pardon me. 6th to the 9th shloka, and these 4 shlokas, verses, will give you in an encapsulated manner what is the reality behind this apparent world and who he is who manages this world and what is his true original nature. And he is the Lord God of the universe, and so on and so forth. So let us start straight away from studying the shloka once again, a rapid revision. Ajo api abhyatma san. Ajo api san abhyatma. First quarter of the shloka. I am birthless. I am never born. I am immutable. I am birthless means I am not under the thumb of the concept of time. What is being born? What is being coming into existence? It's a point of time when you have a name, a form, few qualities, and a utilitarian value in this world. That is what you are. And as because you are born, you are subject to 6 different mutations. Jayate, you are born. Asti, you exist. Vardhate, you grow. Viparinamate, that is, you mutate between good and bad, strength and weakness and all that. There's an up and down in your life. Viparinamate, apakshiyate, degeneration takes place. And ultimately, nashyati, you disintegrate into 5 elements of nature. You are a subject to these mutations. Ajaha means one is not born, so he has none of these problems. And he is abhyaya atma, immutable. Time, space, causation has no effect on it. He is immutable, he is infinite, he is immutable, he is infinite. He is beyond time, he is beyond space, and he doesn't mutate. He is the absolute eternal. That is what he is. He says, I am that in my real nature. Krishna is speaking to Arjuna, through Arjuna to all of us. I am that. But at the same time, Bhutanam Ishwaropi San. I am at the same time Lord God of this universe, the creator, the preserver, the destroyer of this universe. 2 contrary things. I am the absolute, I am the phenomenal. I am absolute and I am the all-powerful Lord God of this universe. How is it possible? Prakritim swam adhishtaya. Swam prakritim, my own power. Prakriti has so many synonyms. Prakriti, avidya shakti, ajnana shakti, maya. All these 5 words means the same. What does it mean? Let us come back to our level of awareness. With that, we'll be able to understand what does it mean. Something is created. Say, for instance, a carpenter creates a unique furniture. The carpenter thinks of initially what he will create. He plans, he programs, he procures his material, then he puts it into action and something is created. As soon as you see that furniture, which is a created material, you would say, the Creator is wonderful. He has all these potential capacities within himself, which he, if he desires, he manifests itself in his creation. If he doesn't desire, he keeps it within himself. He is the master of his creation. And when that creation started? In his imagination. A planner, a programmer, an executor, a project manager. So he says, I have these 6 excellences in me. Jnana, Aishwarya, Shakti, Bala, Birja, Teja. 6 bhaga, excellences. They are all within me, is a potential energy, and it is my will which kinetizes it, which manifests it. Swam Praktim Adhishtaya. I am the ruler, I am the determinator of my innate capacities which is hidden in me. When I manifest it, I am in this whole creation. I create it, tat srishtva, tad eva anupravishat. I create it materially and spiritually, essentially, I permeate and saturate my whole creation. There is not a speck of space or not an iota of time where I am not in my spirit, in my original Aja Api Advayatma San. But I manifest. And with that capacity, Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. With that force in me, I decide as and when I will be born, or I will manifest myself. So you see, in this shloka, 3 things are being covered. His untainted original nature, Nirguna Nirakara Niripikalpa Brahma, which is beyond our understanding. Why? Because we are in this domain of Nama, Rupa, Guna, Artha, Kriya, Karitva. We are in this domain. Our thinking, our thinking, our understanding, our imagination cannot go beyond that. It is in the domain of Nama, Rupa, Guna, Artha Kriya Karitva. Name, form, qualities and utilitarian value. So for us to think as there is a creator in the material world, the absolute creator creates this universe. How does he create? He has within himself these 6 excellences. Shada Bhaga Sampanya Bhagavan. Lord God of the universe has these 6 excellences. Jnana, Aishwarya, Shakti, Bala, Birja, Tej. It is in it. Now, Sri Ramakrishna makes it easy for us to understand. What does he say? Think of an hibernating snake. For all practical purposes, the snake is. But what we know as a snake, the snake is dead, is not there. But that snake, when the hibernation is over, when it has shed its cover, that snake is alive. The snake has the capacity to hibernate and to activate. This is how Sri Ramakrishna makes it easily understandable from the commonsensical point of view. A sheet of water, say for instance a very quiet ocean. The surface is like a sheet of glass. It is water, but that water, when an earthquake takes place, becomes a tsunami. All destructive, but it is water. So, from the worldly commonsensical point of view, Sri Ramakrishna gives you a certain example, a snake and water solidifying itself into ice. Name, form, qualities, hardness and utilitarian value. But it is in essence water. Certain factors have made it ice. Here the factor is Atma-mayaya Swam Mayam Adhisthaya Atma-mayaya Sambhavami. I, with my will, I desire, and that takes place. That kinetizes the potential energy. He says he creates himself. That is the concept of immaculate conception because of utmost purity of every cell of the body. Every cell of the body is absolutely pure. Suddha, Sattvic, Bhagavati, Tanu. Suddha is ever pure. Sattvic is saturated with excellence of Sattva-guna. That is the form of the divine body. He creates himself. So this shloka tells you how that absolute appears to be phenomenon and it is real to us till we outgrow that. For our understanding, Sri Krishna is saying what is the procedure. Though I am ajaha, birthless, though I am immutable, but I, under the influence, keeping the force of Maya under my control, I create myself. Why do you create yourself, sir? What is the necessity? Why don't you remain what you are? He says, no, I have a purpose. What is that purpose? The purpose is Jada jada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tada atmanam srijami aham. As simple as that. It is not whimsical. It is not a madman's unrestrained activity or unrelated activity. Whimsical. No, it has a purpose. When I see yada yada, as and when, dharmasya glanir bhavati. Dharma. Use that word dharma now. I'll come to it a little later. Whatever is your concept of dharma, glanir bhavati, it loses its attractive luster. We are attracted to things which has a luster of their own, a glow of their own. Dharma has a glow of its own, which is attractive. Somehow or other, in course of time, dharma loses that luster, that glow which attracts us. As and when such a situation happens, when dharma loses its luster, its glow, and therefore its attractiveness. And adharma, I will not translate it now, adharma is in the rise. That is, it is becoming more attractive. When I find this is happening, I create myself, tada atmanam srijami aham. That is the reason when I am forced to create myself. How? I have no personal axe to grind. I don't create myself because of my past karmas. I have no karma whatsoever. You and others, you are born, we are all born because of our past karmas. The chain is not breakable. But he has no chain. Sa prayojana abhava opisan bhuta anu jigrikshaya. This is how it has been mentioned. What does it mean? Don't be afraid of the Sanskrit word language. He has no personal axe to grind. Sa prayojana abhava. He has no personal interest, personal axe to grind. What is the motivation? Bhuta anu jigrikshaya. I am totally moved by the misery my children are going through by their own stupidity. Because they are moved away from performance of dharma and slowly being a victim of adharma. That creates an eternal compassion in me, and that compassion forces me to decide it is time for me to be born. So, it is not erratic, it is not whimsical. Lord God of the universe, He decides when He will be born again. And what for? He decides it. What will He do? Let us see what He will do. paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. This is the 8th shloka. The 7th and the 8th shloka says, what is the motive behind that you are forced to take a human form? What is the reason behind? He says, when the luster, the glow, and the attraction of dharma loses its hold on my children, and my children slowly and slowly get attached to adharma. Now, I told you I'll explain this concept of dharma to you. It is said in the scriptures, when God created this universe and his image, the humans, his children, he enjoined 2 distinct paths for them. One is Nishreyasha and the other is Abhyudaya. And along with it, he created a code of conduct. If you want to go this way, and he created people who decided to live a Nishreyasha life, or a life dedicated to Abhyudaya, 2 groups of people. One, Nishreyasha means the ultimate goal where there is no goal beyond it. Nishreyasha, the ultimate good. That is to go back to my Maker in heaven, my Father in heaven. I manifest the potential divinity in me. And this Jiva becomes Shiva. This Jivatma becomes Paramatma, the cosmic soul. This is the path of Nishreyasha. For that matter, a code of conduct, a behavior pattern. Though you are a human being, being the most evolved of the biological creatures, you have very good faculties. At the same time, as a biological creature, you have several propensities. Shadaripu, 6 propensities, and Chaturguna, that is the 4 excellent faculties: rationality, emotionality, ingenuity, and willpower. And what is Shadaripu? Kama, Krodha, Lova, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. All of them are in me, in us. Now, dharma is a basket full of ideas. What we call in modern language, value system. No. As a cultured, educated human being, you should not think of that way. That is dharma. A part and parcel of that basket full of ideas, which Swamiji very simply proves, says, man-making, character-building ideas. Now, those ideas are there. Please, don't be lobhy, don't be greedy, don't seek for anything. Live in a manner, whatever comes your way, you only accept that much which is required for your livelihood. And why you want to live? Because you want to make the use of this life to reach that goal. All linked up together. So in short, dharma is that basket full of ideas, value system, code of conduct, whatever you may say, holding on to which, dharate iti dharma, that is the literal grammatical meaning, holding on to which. If you hold on to these ideas, these values, these codes of your life's conduct, if you hold on to them, you will be able to manifest the divinity within you. You will be one with your Father in heaven, or you'll be one with your Maker. Or you'll manifest the divinity which is your true original nature. That is dharma. And if you do not do so, and living in this world and seeing that the world has so many opportunities to gratify my propensities, kama is desire inclusive of physical attractions, krodha, anger, lobha is greed, moha is confused thinking, mada is inflated ego, vanity, pride, and matsarja is jealousy, envy, rancor. Now see how concrete it is. I have a desire to be one with God. But at the same time, if something attractive comes in my way, I jump for it. And I prepare to step on with all the good values of life and behave like a beast. I do that this way and that way. The choice and the discretion is in me. So what happens, Sri Krishna says, that while living in this world, we start making compromises. Oh, this is a slight little thing. It can be done. That compromise is the first thin end of the wedge entering into you. And the wedge becomes broader and broader and broader. And you are moving out of dharma. So, let me conclude now. Dharma is that basket full of ideas, holding on to which, living up to it, you are in a position of manifesting the divinity within you. And if you do not hold, slowly and slowly, the beastly instincts in you will take hold of you, and though you appear to be a human, but in essence you are behaving like an animal. So Sri Krishna says here, when I see and watch that the human society is going to dogs, is deviating, starting from simple compromises. It doesn't know where the deep ramp leads you to what a depth. It is easy to walk down a ramp, very difficult to climb up a ramp. But that easy, comfortable, convenient walk leads you downwards. So when I see my children are taking to that path and they have forgotten the higher values of life which will help them to come to me, they have forgotten that. To rehabilitate them, to rehabilitate the lost value of dharma, to show them how it is to be lived, I have to be born over and over and over again. And he says, what is the manifestation of this? Paritranaya sadhunam. People who are striving to reach that goal, oneness with me, I try to help them. Or I remove the oppression or obstacles that are standing in their way of progress. I remove them how? By living a life of example. Vinashaya cha dushkritam. This concept of vinasha, and dushkrita means those who perform evil deeds. The tendency I would like to destroy. I would not like to destroy my children. And if it is absolutely necessary, then that person needs to be removed. And we see in history, in our legend, mythology and history, we see there are times when a tremendous amount of killing had taken place because of an incarnation of the divine. We know about the Old Testament, that lamb of gold, and people went mad after. They had to be destroyed. But the concept of destruction in the present avatar has gone. I'll tell you about an incident. After Sri Ramakrishna's passing away, those 16 children, they were in Baranagar Mutt, the majority of them, and they were deep in sorrow, but at the same time, they were deeply involved in what Sri Ramakrishna had taught them. And Girish Chandra Ghosh, of whom you have heard, he's not one of those 16, but he was a towering spiritual personality created by Sri Ramakrishna himself. He used to come and visit them and also occasionally finance them so that they can keep their body and soul together to have something to eat. One day, casually, he asked them, "Children, boys, I have a question for you. Could you give me an answer?" What was that? You know, Rama had his Dhanush Bana, bow and arrow. With that, he destroyed Ravana and all the Asuras. To rehabilitate religion, because Ravan was anti-religion. Adharmasya Murti. He is an epitome of adharma and he would listen to nothing, so I had to kill him. Krishna came with his chakra, and with his Sudarshan chakra he destroyed such people who never ever listened to him. Ultimately, whether it is Shishupala or it is Jarasandha. These are the stories. Now you say Sri Ramakrishna is an avatara. What weapon did he have to destroy? What weapon did he have? Avatara must have a weapon. Now boys, you think over and tell me. And none of them had an answer. Because he didn't have any weapon. He was the humblest of the humble, modestest of the modest person. So he had no weapon. So Girish Babu says, the present day avatara had a weapon. That was utter humility. And he folded his hands and shield. Whenever Ramakrishna met somebody, he was humble. Why? By his behavior pattern, his thinking pattern, his attitude showed he is meeting the divine incarnate in that form. He saw the divine everywhere. That is the weapon that the modern avatar has. The Vinashaya cha dushritam. Vinashaya cha dushritam here means that he destroys the evil tendency within you by behaving in a manner where you cannot find a slightest fault of behavior pattern in Sri Ramakrishna, what he professed and what he did. Thinking and performing were synchronized. So, why is he born? To re-establish the lost value, the veracity, to re-establish the lost value and veracity of dharma, to show people how you can be gathered to your Father in heaven, or how you can manifest the divinity within yourself. And he is a strong force of helpfulness in his lifetime and thereafter. This is what I do. Good enough. All these three are understood. How do I stand to gain? How do I stand to gain? Storytelling is all right. I am now well informed. What is Avatara Tattva? What is the principle or the concept of incarnation of the divine? I have now understood. How does it help me? How do I profit myself from this study? The last shloka of the day. Shloka number 9. Janma karma chame divyam. Stop here. Mama janma, that I am born. Mama karma, that I am active throughout my life. Know for certain it has a very deep spiritual significance. Don't forget that. How do you profit from it? This is a theory, the whole concept. But how does an individual like me and you and others, how do we profit ourselves from their arrival? It will be utter stupidity to miss this opportunity to take advantage of his arrival as an individual. He is now telling you how you will take advantage of his presence. Mama janma, my birth, mama karma, my livelihood, is divyam. Dotanavan is full of effulgence, light, lakshya. There's no darkness in it. Each and every act of mine has a spiritual suggestion. Spiritual wisdom emanates from me. Janma karma chame divyam dotanava. Yaha, an individual who makes a deep, thorough study of the total life history of mine with an analytical approach. Why and how did he do it? Why did he do it? How did he do it? What for? And what is the beneficial for me? This is the attitude. Ja evam veti tattatah. He who experiences in its essential value, not on the surface only. What happens to him? He is so saturated with me and my ideas that when they die, they are no more born. Because they are saturated with me, they come and live with me. They merge in me. Janma karma chame divyam. My birth, my activities in life are divyam, dotanavan, full of light, full of effulgence, full of luster and glow. That is the attractiveness of my life. He who studied it in depth, in an analytical, absorbent, receptive manner. You know, there's a parallel incident. There's a book known as Imitation of Christ. An ordinary person, a butcher, a leatherman, Thomas A. Kempis, that was his name. You know, what was his philosophy of life? Whenever he faced a situation, he stopped. Before reacting, what would have Christ done had he been in this situation? And he keeps on thinking about Christ. And he finds out, oh, Christ would have behaved with utter forgiveness and a universal compassionate love. I will behave that way. Imitation of Christ. What is imitation? That imitating process saturates your being and you be one with what you are imitating. So imitation takes to realization. What is imagination today becomes a realization tomorrow. That is what Hariman used to say, Sridharananda ji used to say. It is being said here, eternal truth in various forms. Janma karma chame divyam. Yaha, a person, enam, this secret attitudinal approach. Beti tattataha. He now understands fully who am I, what for am I born, and how I perform my duties of life, and how I leave an indelible mark on human consciousness, and I disappear. A person who meditates on that thoroughly, properly, totally, in its essential value, he becomes one with me and he is never born again. Sa na eti, mam eti, so Arjuna. He doesn't come back to the world again, dear. When his life ends, he comes and meets me. He be with me. He becomes one with me. With this, the 9th shloka comes to an end. Janma karma chame divyam ya evam beti tattataha tvakta deham punarjanmana eti. Where does he go? Does he evaporate like camphor? No. Mameti Sarjana. He comes and merges in me. With these 4 shlokas, this section of our discussion comes to an end. But the chapter 4 does not end. The chapter 4 tells you how to develop that discipline within ourselves so that we qualify to be exposed to these ideas so that we can receive them. Otherwise, all these ideas will go above our head. Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmaya mamupashritaha bahavo jnana tapasha puta madbhavam agata. So I thought, dears, that I will end the study of the 4th chapter with this. 4 shlokas up to the 9th shloka. But let us complete the chapter. How do we educate ourselves, discipline ourselves, make ourselves receptive, develop the quality of assimilation, absorption, so that we saturate ourselves to such an extent that we can totally absorb the awareness of presence of the divine every moment of our life, and we merge in him and don't come back again. So we will continue. Now, dear, before I take leave of you, I have an announcement. The announcement is, because of the Christmas holidays and the season of festivity, because 24th Eve we will be having a celebration, 26th of December is Holy Mother's birthday, and so on and so forth. And this country goes through a holiday mood till the 26th of January, the Republican Day, the National Australian Day. So, our next Gita class will be held on 6th of February, the first Sunday in February. And I'll continue from this shloka number 10 of the 4th chapter. Till then, kindly bear with me. Bye for now. Thank you.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna